Well, good morning, everybody. It's finally time. Just got off of work. The fog just lifted and burned off to where I can record some video now. So it is finally time to get started on the raised bed gardens. And I'll go ahead and say this project's going to be kind of long. So this is probably going to be 2 or 3 parts at least. And then I'll probably do a video as kind of a follow-up when everything is nice and complete. I'm going to do the raised beds now. I'll probably do the fencing later just due to the amount of time that I have, and because it just turned off so unusually warm, I have got to rush and get everything planted because I've already missed a couple of weeks. It's just unusually warm for this time of year. So as you can see behind me here, I went and got a nice big, very expensive load of lumber. But the way I see it is, you know, buy once, cry once. Of course, this stuff will have to be replaced at some point in the future. And disclaimer, I have planted gardens for years, but I am no expert. And I know this is about to be controversial right here, and I'm probably never going to hear the end of it in the comments. But yes, I am using pressure-treated lumber. This is not the old arsenic-cured stuff that we're all used to from many years ago. And I made for sure when I bought this, if you check the tags, it clearly says on there that it's that copper-treated lumber. I haven't seen any test results or reports to show that this is harmful for you or that it leaches any kind of toxic chemical into the soil that a plant could absorb. So let's go ahead and get over that point right now. I know this is still probably going to be controversial to a lot of people, but the way I see it is the vegetables that you're buying from store that are showing trace amounts of herbicides and pesticides, hey, people eat that stuff every day, and I think that is far worse than the stuff that I'm going to plant and never use those herbicides and pesticides. And I'm going to put it in a little bit of pressure treat here that, again, I just can't find any test results showing that this is just harmful for humans. So we got that point out of the way there. This is what's available in my area. This is what I'm going with, because regular pine is the only other wood that we have. It would rot in the first year. Termites would just have a heyday with it. So this is what I'm using. Well, here's the area where I'm going to do my little garden. Hopefully this little camera shows it off, plus it's still very early and dark. But what I did is, because the yard is finally ready to mow, I come out here real quick and kind of scout the area and got my lines lined up with the mower. So I mowed the grass. The garden is not going to be as big as you see here. I went a little extra large, but mainly wanted to get this lined up with the building, like for things to be somewhat symmetrical. So this is kind of the general shape of the garden. It's a rectangle and I'm going to go that way toward that power line. And the other reason I went ahead and mowed first thing in the morning right here is because now I'm able to see how the sun is blocked by the building. So now I know first thing in the morning, since I've stopped my corner right here, I'm going to get sun from first thing in the morning on this garden all the way throughout the day. Eventually these pines are going to grow up and throw some shade. But this looks like a really good location that in the heat of the summer, when the sun's directly above us, I think this area is going to stay plenty sunny to grow some vegetables. As you can see, I did not till the grass in, and I'm not going to, mainly due to time constraints, and I could not find a tiller locally available to rent that wasn't just a tiny compact one that would have took forever. This is hard packed clay ground. It's even difficult for the tractor to turn this up. I'd have to be out here all day long making multiple passes. Hasn't rained in a while. The ground's very dry. It's extremely difficult to cut. So I have never had a problem with the raised bed gardens that I've built in the past. I've built a 4-inch raised bed garden, a 6-inch, and I've always put soil directly on top of the grass. And even in the 4-inch, it smothers it out, it kills it, it does not come through. I'm doing 2x10s for this, and I'll have probably about 8.5, 9 inches of soil in those. And that is more than enough to kill off any of this grass. Once I get my beds in place, I'll actually go back. I have a very powerful weed burner. That's how I kill a bunch of weeds off around my garden and perimeters without spraying herbicides. I just don't like spraying them in and around vegetables. So I'll go out and burn the walking paths out between it. Then I'll layer it with a heavy layer of mulch. So that's how I'm going to take care of this right here. Now I'm only putting 2 screws in because I bought some 4x4s, and I'm gonna come back and brace the inside and shoot screws in there. I recommend that far more than just drilling a bunch of screws to the end, because eventually that can split. And I bought a new style screw. Make sure it's exterior rated and for pressure treat. But this style claims to not have to pre-drill for splitting. It's got that chiseled out end where it kind of cuts into the wood. We're gonna give it a shot, but I have found pressure treat wood, especially wet wood, is so soft, I tend to don't have the problem splitting. But since I'm not gonna shoot a whole bunch of screws in it, I'm gonna put the 4x4 blocks on the inside. I think I'll be okay. All right, there is one of the beds complete. Well, I say complete. I've still got to go brace every single corner, because again, I don't want just a couple screws on the very ends holding this together and holding a lot of weight back in there. So I've got to cut some 4x4s, and I'm going to brace the inside corners with 2x4s instead of bracing on the outside where you see a block. So there's that one. I'm going to do one more here. Another one in the corner, another one in the corner over here, 2 small beds in here, and then I'll probably put something like peppers in them. And then right in here in the back, we'll do one gigantic long bed that's going to be twice as deep as these right here, and that'll be my potato bed or whatever else I want to plant in there. So getting this out here and set up, it does look a little smaller than I was expecting. Obviously I mowed a huge spot, and I'm not going to go anywhere near the back corner where I mowed. So I've got to really think about before I put a fence up if I'm going to be happy with the size of this. I've got to remember that you can grow a tremendous amount of vegetables and food in a raised bed versus a traditional in the ground garden. My last traditional in the ground garden was not even the size of what's mowed right here, and I used to get a lot of food off of that, and I know I can probably quadruple that amount in these little raised beds. So I've got to keep that in mind. You don't necessarily have to go really large on a raised bed to get a lot of food. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing and fast forward now that I've put this together, knock out the rest of these, and then we'll slow it down at the end. I'll talk about the lumber, the dimensions, etc. Tell y'all what, it got hot. So don't make fun of me and my shorts and flip-flops. And a lot of y'all joined over the winter. So I'm gonna go ahead and prepare you. Come summertime here in Florida where it's 90 and 100 degrees, flip-flops and shorts. Unless I'm doing something dangerous, I do not wear steel toes and jeans. So go ahead and get used to that. You can look at my old ugly feet and white legs. It is already in the upper 80s. I have been drenched in sweat. This is crazy. This is the hottest March I can ever remember. And in 2 days, they're calling for it to hit 90 degrees. Just unreal. 10-day forecast doesn't show any cool down in sight. So Oh man, I don't know what that means for the garden. I've never gardened with it this hot, this early. I hope the bugs don't come out early. That's very possible. And hope we don't wind up with a very dry, fiery type of summer. So maybe I shouldn't be talking like that, but man, this is unreal. I've never seen it get this hot. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut some of those blocks so I can start bracing the corners, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. So now that I've got everything squared up, and that took quite a while. I used a 100-foot tape measure and went from corner to corner. Spent quite a bit of time situating these around to get everything to my liking. And I want it to be nice and symmetrical, and I'm trying to make my walkways and boxes the same size because I want this to look good as well as be functional. So the 2 screws I shot in is basically just to hold everything together. And I cut these blocks. Now I'm going to shoot 2 more screws on either side, so there's a total of 6 screws per corner. But this block will make this so much stronger. Instead of whenever I put all that compost in, that weight pushing and wanting this thing to buckle, them 2 little screws would split the ends over time. So now that there's a nice solid block in there, it'll hold it together pretty good. There's really no right or wrong way to brace a corner like this, but I don't want to block on the outside to where I can see it. Old 4x4 block doesn't look as good to me. So I've got some of these old 2x4 pressure treats, and what I'm going to do is screw them together, kind of make an L, put that on the inside, then screw into it and brace it that way. Then it'll be covered up by the soil too, and you won't see it. I just think it looks better. So you can see how I've got that corner braced right there. And then the back corners, like I said, just going to use 4x4s. That should tie everything together nice and solid. I'm still debating if I'm going to put a stake in the ground on these longer sections of run, just to keep it from bowing out. And I know it's 2x10s, but that soil is heavy, so I'll make my mind up on that. I think I'm going to knock off for the day. I've been up since yesterday. I'm burning hot, and they're talking about closing our local boat ramps because of this virus. So before they do, I think we're going to jump in the boat and go run to the river and cool off. But as you can see, I've made a good start today. So next episode we'll come back and we've got 3 more boxes to build. So this is the general idea here, and the reason I have left this size gap that you see here, I've left this wide enough to drive my tractor in, because I'm going to make a big swinging gate here. And the reason I want to be able to drive my tractor in so I can dump mulch in here and spread out, or compost, because these boxes are going to constantly settle and I'm going to have to fill them. So once I get my fence up, I can fill all these outside boxes by putting the tractor bucket over the fence and dumping in. Once I come in, I'm still going to build 2 more small boxes here and here and try to use up every square inch of room, and I'll probably put something like peppers in those. And then I can drive my tractor on back to a very big box that I'm going to build right here, probably 15 foot long, and it's going to be 2 2x10s high, so it's going to be a really deep box. And that one's going to be for potatoes, because they like nice deep soil, or anything else that I want to plant in there. Well, I appreciate y'all so much for watching. This video is probably rocked on a bit long by now at this point. Like I said, I never intended to build the entire thing in one video. It'd just be too long. And if you're new to the channel and just joined, I don't do how-to videos. So if you stumbled across this expecting me to show you step by step on how to build a raised bed garden, that's just not what I do. My videos are kind of a daily vlog, daily homestead or farm vlog as we develop our property here. Not to say there isn't things that I can't teach you or that you might be able to teach me, because that's what this channel is all about, especially the comment section. I learned plenty from y'all. But how-to videos just aren't my thing. I just like to bring y'all along for all the little projects that I do around our place. So like I said, when we come back, we'll build those other 3 boxes. Then I'll probably start filling these beds with compost. Then we got to plant them. And then coming up in the future, I've got to build a perimeter fence around this because we've got a lot of deer, and I know they'll get in here and eat this up. So I'll catch y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you're staying safe and healthy as this virus runs around the country. And hopefully it doesn't affect YouTube and uploading. If not, you're going to see me pump out a lot more videos. Thanks for watching.